Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The death toll from a massive Arctic storm that's blanketed much of the country is now at least 57 and expected to rise. 34 of the dead, more than half, were in Buffalo and western New York. The blizzard there immobilized the area. Erie County Executive Mark Pocaron says it's not over yet.
Snow, unfortunately, is still dropping in the city and the north towns. Up to 8 to 12 inches is expected in the most persistent band area. This is not helpful as we're trying to recover and clear off streets and get into areas that still have not had a plow. There is, of course, a state of emergency in effect for all of Erie County.
Some died while shoveling snow, others when emergency crews could not respond in time to medical crises. Others who died were found in their homes or cars that had gotten stuck in roadways. Some motorists abandoned their vehicles and sought shelter by foot. The mayor of hard-hit Buffalo said a driving ban remains in effect.
We are asking people to stay off the roads. The Buffalo police have literally, in a variety of different ways, provided hundreds of rescues and have rescued many stranded motorists in the city of Buffalo. In some of these circumstances, some of these people might not have survived.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul acknowledged climate change is a cause of the historic storm.
Historic storms are no longer historic to us. That's become a way of life in our state, and that's results of climate change, as you see extreme weather events all over our country. But all of us in state and county and local government know we had to be prepared for the next big one.
Extreme weather stretched from the Great Lakes near Canada down to the Rio Grande along the border with Mexico. 60% of the country faced some sort of winter weather advisory or warning. Parts of Canada also declared states of emergency. Storm-related deaths were reported all over the U.S., from 6 motorists killed in crashes in Missouri, Kansas, and Kentucky to a woman who fell through Wisconsin river ice and a deadly fire at a homeless encampment in Kansas. Some 4,500 domestic and international flights were canceled as of this morning. The Department of Transportation says it will look into flight cancellations by Southwest Airlines that have left travelers stranded at airports across the country. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov today warned Ukraine must meet Moscow's demands for demilitarization and the removal of its military threat to Russia. Otherwise, the army would solve the issue. Lavrov also accused the West of fueling the war in Ukraine to weaken Russia and said it depends on Kiev and Washington how long the conflict will last. Moscow insists its military gains in the 2014 annexation of the Crimea Peninsula cannot be ignored. Ukraine has said it won't negotiate with Russia before the full withdrawal of Russian troops. Ukraine officials warn Russia's bringing in large reserves for fierce fighting near Crimea in the Luhansk, Donbass regions. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said the situation in Bakhmut, Crimea, and other areas in the Donbass was difficult and painful during his nightly address. Heavy fighting is taking place there. The escalations come one day after both sides separately floated the idea of peace talks. The top UN official in Kabul met with a Taliban government minister in Afghanistan's capital Monday following a decision by the country's new rulers to bar women from working for non-governmental organizations. The UN official reportedly asked for a reversal of the ban. The ban comes just days after the Taliban banned women from attending universities. Simon Marks has more.
Zara Zaidi is a lawyer and founder of the non-governmental group Action on Afghanistan.
It's going to devastate families. Remember, women are still the caregivers, and a lot of women are widows. This policy is going to kill. And given the lack of freedoms, women can't access services. They can't leave the house unaccompanied. And there's a rise in child marriages, which is increasing the risk of maternal deaths. The ban on female humanitarian workers could well be a red line for agencies, and they could pull out aid. And if they pull out aid, it's going to be cataclysmic.
She says Western leaders should now organise a global summit to focus specifically on the plight of Afghan women and girls. I'm Simon Marks.
China said it will drop a COVID-19 quarantine requirement for passengers arriving from abroad starting January 8th. The National Health Commission announced the change Monday as part of the latest easing of China's once strict COVID-19 measures. People coming to China will still need a negative virus test 48 hours before departure, and passengers will be required to wear protective masks on board. Taiwan will extend its compulsory military service from 4 months to a year starting in 2024. The announcement comes after China's military sent 71 planes and 7 ships towards Taiwan in a 24-hour display of force over the weekend. The increased military activity came after China expressed anger at Taiwan-related provisions in a U.S. annual defense spending bill passed Saturday that provides up to $10 billion in security assistance and fast-tracked weapon sales to Taiwan. South Korea's president has called for stronger air defenses and high-tech stealth drones after the military failed to shoot down North Korean drones that crossed the border into South Korea for the first time in 5 years. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.